Once upon a time, the morning sun spilled over the village like melted butter, turning the dewdrops on Little Red Riding Hood's garden into tiny sparks of light. Inside the cozy cottage, the scent of fresh-baked honey cakes curled through the air. "Don't forget the lavender sachet for Grandma's pillow," her mother reminded her, tucking it into the basket beside the jam jar. "And remember, straight to her house. No wandering. I promise," Red chirped, though her fingers itched to chase the fluttering yellow butterflies dancing at the forest's edge. As she stepped onto the winding path, the trees leaned in, their leaves whispering secrets only the wind could translate. A crow cawed, a sound like a rusty hinge, but Red just tightened her red cloak, a gift from Grandma, stitched with tiny wolves hidden in the embroidery, and marched forward. Somewhere deep in the shadows, eyes gleamed, watching, waiting. The forest grew thicker, the sunlight dappling the ground like scattered coins. Red paused to watch a ladybug crawl across a mushroom when a voice boomed. "Lost in daydreams, little one?" she yelped. The massive oak tree ahead had spoken, its bark creaking into something like a mouth. Two knotholes high above twinkled like wise old eyes. "Trees aren't supposed to talk," Red blurted, then flushed. "I mean, hello, Mr. Oak." The tree's laughter sounded like branches rubbing in a storm. "And little girls aren't supposed to dawdle when wolves are about." Red's grip on her basket tightened. "Wolves? But Mother said they're just in stories. Stories grow from roots in the real world," the oak murmured. A single acorn dropped into her palm, warm as a heartbeat. "Take this. The old ways still have power here." Behind her, a twig snapped. Something growled, too low for human ears to catch. The oak's voice turned urgent. "Run, child. But not the way you came." Red stared at the gnarled root the oak had shifted aside, revealing a narrow trail veiled by ferns and silver cobwebs. The hidden path smelled of damp earth and wild mint, a secret road only the forest knew. "But Mother said to stay on the main path," Red whispered, hesitating. The oak's bark creaked, almost like a sigh. "Some rules must bend when danger walks straight." Its branches shivered, casting dappled shadows that seemed to point the way. "Trust the fireflies, they'll light your steps." As if summoned, tiny golden lights flickered to life along the trail, bobbing like floating stars. Red took a deep breath, clutched her basket tighter, and stepped forward. The moment she passed beneath the first arch of ferns, the forest sounds changed. The usual chatter of birds softened into hushed trills, and the wind carried a faint, musical hum, as if the trees themselves were singing. Behind her, a distant howl split the air. Red froze. "Don't look back," the oak's voice echoed, though she could no longer see it. "Just keep walking and mind the thorns." She glanced down. Woven among the ferns were brambles with tiny blackberries. Not thorns, but words, carved into the stems. "Courage grows in the quiet places," one read. Another, "Even wolves fear what they don't understand." Red swallowed hard and hurried on, the fireflies leading her deeper into the green, whispering dark. Meanwhile, the big bad wolf crouched near the main path's bend, his tail twitching with impatience. The girl should have passed by now. His stomach growled. He could practically smell the honey cakes in her basket. A rustle in the bushes. The wolf's ears pricked up, but it was only a plump brown squirrel, nibbling an acorn. "You," the wolf crooned, smoothing his voice into something sweet. "Have you seen a little girl in a red cloak?" "I'm here." "A friend." The squirrel's beady eyes narrowed. "Friend? Funny. You've got liar written all over your teeth." The wolf's grin faltered. He forced a chuckle. Now, I just want to help her. The woods can be confusing." "Oh, I'll bet," the squirrel muttered, then flicked its tail toward the treetops. "But if you're looking for her, ask the oak. It knows everything." The wolf's fur bristled. That meddling tree. Head tried to claw its bark once, years ago, and it had dropped a beehive on him. No matter, Head beat Red to Grandma's cottage the old-fashioned way, by running. With a snarl, he launched himself down the path, kicking up dust. The squirrel watched him go, then scampered up a tree, chittering a warning to the leaves above. Somewhere in the branches, a crow took flight, its shadow racing the wolf through the dappled light. The race was on. The wolf arrived at Grandma's cottage in a whirl of snapped twigs and panting breaths. He skidded to a stop, his claws digging into the soft earth of her garden. The cottage stood quiet, its windows glowing with the warm light of oil lamps. The scent of chamomile tea and wood smoke curled through the air, cozy, inviting, and utterly irritating to a wolf who preferred his meals unexpected. He smoothed his ruffled fur, licked his teeth straight, and knocked 3 times. "Grandma?" he called in his best imitation of Red's voice, high, sweet, and just a little off, like a flute played slightly out of tune. "It's me. I've brought you cakes." Silence. Then, "Oh, then what's our secret word?" Grandma's voice was firm, with a thread of amusement. The wolf blinked. Secret word? He hadn't planned for this. Honey? Try again. Muffins? Cupcakes? Oh, strawberries. A soft click came from inside, the sound of a bolt sliding firmly into place. "Nice try, Fleabag," Grandma called, her voice now edged with steel. "But my real granddaughter knows the word is thunderbread. Now scat before I fetch my broom, and am not above whacking a wolf with it." The wolf snarled, his tail lashing. He could break down the door, but the commotion would draw attention, maybe even the woodsman who lived nearby. No, head wait. The girl would come eventually, and when she did, a rustle in the bushes behind him made him whirl around. But it was only the wind. Or was it? Red arrived just as the last rays of sunlight gilded the cottage roof. Shed followed the fireflies all the way, their glow fading as dusk settled. The moment she stepped into the clearing, Grandma's door flew open. "There you are." Grandma pulled her inside, her sharp eyes scanning the trees. "Did you see? The wolf?" "The oak warned me," Red said, breathless. She pulled the acorn from her pocket. "He gave me this. Said to plant it when I needed a friend." Grandma's eyebrows shot up. "An acorn from the whispering oak? Well then, no time like the present." They buried it in the soft soil of Grandma's herb garden, right beside the rosemary, for remembrance, and the sage, for wisdom. As Red pressed the earth over it, a warm breeze swirled around them, carrying the scent of rain and old, deep magic. The next morning, a sapling stood where they'd planted the seed, already knee-high, its leaves a vibrant green no ordinary tree could match. When Red touched its trunk, the leaves shivered, and a voice, faint but clear, whispered on the wind, "The forest remembers its friends." And from that day on, whenever Red visited, the sapling grew just a little taller, its branches stretching toward her like arms ready to embrace. The wolf still prowled the woods, but he never came near Grandma's cottage again. Some said it was because of the broom. Others swore it was because the trees themselves watched over the little house now, their roots humming with quiet, growing power. As for Red, she still walked the forest path, but now, she listened carefully to every rustle, every sigh of the leaves. Because the oldest magic isn't in spells or potions, but in the bonds we grow. And hers had taken root. Wisdom often comes from unexpected places. The talking oak tree symbolizes the quiet, ancient knowledge of the natural world, often overlooked in our haste. Red learns that guidance can come from humble sources, like an acorn or a squirrel's warning, if we're open to listening. True wisdom isn't always loud or obvious. Pay attention to the whispers of the world around you. Trust your intuition over blind obedience. Red disobeys her mother's rule to stay on the path, but her choice saves her. The oak's advice proves wiser than rigid instructions. Lesson: rules are important, but critical thinking and intuition matter more when danger arises. Kindness roots itself in unexpected ways. The oak's gift, an acorn that grows into a protective tree, shows how small acts of kindness or courage can blossom into lasting safety. Lesson: what you nurture today may become shelter for tomorrow. Cleverness trumps brute force. Grandma outsmarts the wolf with a secret password: avoiding violence. The story rejects the idea that strength alone wins battles. Lesson: wit and preparation are more powerful than aggression. We are part of nature, not its master. The forest is alive. Trees speak, Fireflies guide, and thorns bear messages. Red's respect for nature saves her. Lesson: harmony with the natural world protects us far more than dominating it. Fear doesn't have to win. The wolf isn't killed or humiliated. He's simply outmatched by collective wisdom, Grandma's cunning, the oak's guidance, the forest's magic. Lesson: fear, the wolf, flees when met with courage and community. At its heart, this story reminds us that the oldest magic isn't in spells or weapons, but in listening, adapting, and nurturing bonds with each other and the world we share.